If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
You think he had a chance to win?
But what makes you say that? I mean,
he need the money. I'm telling you.
Does he have a chance to win though?
The world of fighting is now very busy. Terrence "Bud" Crawford, who is known as the pound-for-pound king, has agreed to fight Gervonta "Tank" Davis. There is, however, one unpleasant catch to this conversation. Crawford set off a situation that was so brave and cruel that it shook the boxing world to its core. For this to happen, Tank must first beat Jake Paul in their upcoming fight in November, but would only then give him a chance. Now that this fight is about more than just belts and ranks, let's break it down. It has to do with honor, forgiveness, and character. It's also setting up one of the craziest stories in fighting in years.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and daring to be great.
You would fight him,
man. Tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow, man. Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147? At
147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see, oh man.
You're gonna have a pre-camp.
Then what the people gonna say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
I don't know.
He isn't the type to mess around with his reputation. He recently beat Canelo Alvarez badly, which solidified his status as one of the best boxing trainers ever. But Bud didn't ignore Gervonta Davis when he called him out. Instead, he was very clear about his situation. In the first place, you need to show yourself. Defeat Jake Paul.
Unification, right? I know we last talked Big Bro first to Tank, right? And then, or is it?
Whoever. I told Tank. Tank know what's up. You know what I mean? He know what he up against when he fights Shakur or Keyshawn. You know what I mean? He want to fight these guys that everybody in the world know they ain't gonna give him no fight. They not mentally there. You know what I mean? They might have a little skills here and there, but mentally wise, they not gonna be able to keep it up that whole fight. And them 2 guys right there, you know what I mean, is going to be the ones that, give him his first L.
At first glance, this might look like a simple problem. Tank is a world winner in 3 different categories. After all, Jake Paul is still known as the YouTuber who went pro boxer. The picture is less clear when you zoom out, though. Jake weighs 195 pounds and is bigger and stronger. Tank has never felt good going over 140. That is a difference of about 60 pounds. By making Tank do this, Crawford is basically daring him to walk through the fire before even thinking about getting into the ring with him.
He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think? Sorry. So, I thought we were all unanimous here. Do you think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro.
5'5".
That's what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
he's a
6'1".
little man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up,
move on,
and absorbing punishment for walking forward, then look, there's a way to run it.
Crawford's problem isn't just caused by a fight, but knows that Tank has recently been criticized for focusing on money fights instead of history fights. Remember that Tank didn't show up for his second match against Lamont Roach. Jake Paul has signed up the bug that beat him in their first fight. Fans were very angry. Some people said Tank was dodging real competition.
Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might see it in a minute. You definitely might see it in a minute.
What does Crawford do then? He changes the story. Tank says to Tank, "If you truly want me, the best fighter in the world, then show me and the fans that you can handle the weight difference. the circus, and Jake Paul's pressure, the mega fight would only make sense after that. Crawford seems to be checking Tank's heart rate before judging his skills.
Jake Paul versus Tank Davis, they just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. I think it's not a real fight. Jake just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Also, don't forget that the fight with Jake Paul in November is already one of the most controversial of the year. Jake is a cruiserweight, which means he is big, but Tank is naturally light. That's 6 weight classes apart. Fans see this and think Tank will become famous if he wins. But if he loses, it will hurt his image.
How do I even start to break down a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul fight? Tank, a massively powerful fighter at 135 pounds, but his punch output is among the lowest in the sport. Jake has a pretty decent punch output for a guy that's 200 pounds. He hits hard in his own right, but doesn't have the skill and capabilities anywhere close, or the feet, or the hand speed, or the eyes anywhere close to Tank Davis, but has a power that Tank Davis has probably never felt, but just because Jake is naturally 70 pounds bigger than him, right? So 10 rounds, 3 minutes, who starts to show the wear and tear first? I know if Tank touches him on the jaw, it's probably not going to feel like roses, regardless if he's 135 or 150 or whatever he steps in that night. He's still a Tank and has still put guys down as he's gone up in weight, but Jake is just so much bigger. How much will the power that Tank has at the lower weight classes affect?
That's exactly what makes Crawford's situation so bad, but is making Tank not only fight him, but also risk his whole family history. Think about what would happen if Jake Paul beat Gervonta Davis. Tank would never be seen as a pound-for-pound great again, and he would also miss out on the chance to face Bud.
Bro, when people, what I got from that is he's a hater. You don't know me as a person. Let's say you don't like me. You don't know me. You feel me? And I don't give a fuck. If everybody in the team win, win. Fuck.
Champ, you're a proud father.
This is not just a demand. It's a lesson in how to use power. Tank Davis is not the same person we saw a few years ago. Dude, people feared him. Fighters were scared of him because he was strong, hungry, and had a dangerous instinct. The fire seems to be getting less bright now. He doesn't want to take on the hardest tasks. Instead, he wants the ones with the biggest rewards.
Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done. Tank is done.
When you say done, you mean like not fighting anymore?
Tank is checked out mentally. Tank is gone mentally. Tank looking for the big bag, of Jake Paul, Pacquiao, something solo, and he's looking to, hey, I'll see you later. Tank is standing. He's not gonna fight Shakur Stevenson at all. I don't care how much money Turkey offer, give him 4 Lamborghinis, whatever. Tank ain't taking that fight.
Fans, pay attention. It made him feel bad that he chose to fight Jake instead of running it back with Lamont Roach. In the first fight, Roach hit him hard. Roach earned the rematch, and Tank's decision to back out made people think he was trying to avoid the fight.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have countered it. They would have countered it, would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He a little distracted in the fight.
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, it's like, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same when I fought Andre. That was burning my eyes, so I cut that.
Now everyone is looking at him. Tank might change the story if he beats Jake, but Tank as we know him might not come back if he loses.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
Boxing professionals haven't been afraid to say what they think about all of this. Shocker Stevenson called Tank disgusting for even having Jake Paul over, saying it was beneath the sport.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it, because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money, but From what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
There's a huge size advantage, though.
it is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeff Mayweather didn't like the idea and said it wouldn't help either fighter's career.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting, but I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Rolly Romero and Tapafimo Lopez, on the other hand, stood up for Tank and said that it was okay for men to chase the bag.
You want a Tank and Jake type fight?
Nah, that's theirs. Let them have that.
What do you think about that? Do you think Gervonta has a better chance of knocking Jake out than Jake has a chance of knocking Gervonta out?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. From the height difference, Gervonta gonna have to hit him on the low blows and the belly button, bro, because that's all he gonna reach. I think it's great, man. No matter what, man, it's giving the boxing culture something to look into.
Yeah.
So no matter what it is, it could be comical to a lot of people. It's a circus act, whatever you want, blah blah blah. But it's entertainment, and I think everyone's gonna want to tune in. Gervonta Tank Davis. It's sad we never was able to get a fight in. Got to do what you gotta do, but I get it, man. You got kids, you got a wife or baby mama, whatever it is. But you know, you gotta make your money, yo. You gonna make your money. You gonna call it quits, and you know, I don't blame you on that part, you know. And Jake Paul, you know, do what you gotta do. Don't get knocked out, and keep it cool.
Nate Diaz thought this fight was strange and scary just because of the weight difference.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna be Jake Paul.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It's just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually.
You think
I'm
it's a
not
good
hating
fight?
on the fight, but I think. My thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing's turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. Do you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE. So
Right.
it's like, at least that's happening and it's getting something to talk about, something to watch. And I'm looking forward to that fight, actually.
Don't forget about Terrence either. But Crawford just beat Canelo Alvarez, which is one of the biggest surprises in the history of modern boxing. Most people in the world thought Canelo couldn't be beat before the fight. To face a boxing, the man who ruled many categories and beat all of his big opponents. But when the bell rang, Crawford changed the plan. He didn't just beat Canelo. He stopped him from fighting. He set out to beat the Mexican superstar by outsmarting him from every point, breaking him down perfectly, and showing flaws no one knew he had.
Terrence Crawford had the ability to fight backwards and stay composed, good defense, hands was always up, countering everything that Canelo was throwing at him. He was just a little more active fight. Canelo did hit him to the body, but it was pretty much all Terrence Crawford.
I think some of what we saw from Canelo is what he's has to resort to now to fight. Maybe he's dealt with some injuries to where he's not as mobile. It's just the pattern that he's put himself in for the last, 6 to 8 fights. That same pattern is why Bivol was able to get him.
He did not allow Canelo to get inside, man. As soon as Canelo would get into that certain range, you would jab him. We didn't see any like lateral moves where he would throw, push off to the side, as we used to see Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo was almost smothering his shot because he couldn't stay at range with him. And Terrence Crawford runs off counter combinations. It would be a wider margin if they fought again.
Fans thought there would be a fight, but all they got was a clinic. Canelo looked more like a person than usual because of Crawford's speed, timing, and technical skill.
Been fighting people bigger than me all my life since I was a little kid, and I always came out on top. And they was like, man, would you ever fight Canelo? I was like, man, Canelo too big. And then everybody like, oh man, you think you can beat Canelo? Oh man, he too big. You know, when you used to write what you want to be when you grow up, I used to write, I'm going to be a world champion. I never said I could.
That belief in yourself.
I always said I am. I just believe in my skills. I believe in me. The fact that people doubt me fuel me even more.
The boxing world was shocked by that performance, which cemented Crawford's place in history as not only a great boxer, but also probably the best boxer alive today.
Terence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance. He had poise in the ring, he wasn't rattled. He backed up and moved when necessary and kept us different. He exchanged enough to gain respect when necessary. It was a brilliant, brilliant, masterful fight on Terence Crawford's part.
That's why Crawford's rules for Tank Davis aren't based on hype but on the truth. It's him who's in charge and making choices, so Tank needs to show that he has something to say.
Tank would never even think about to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens? Or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like, I really don't like him. That's like
just not your cup of tea. That's just not your...
I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around him, and he in the limelight and stuff like that. But in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah,
but like his core personality and his ways, nah.
The weight is one of the most important stories that led up to tonight. Tank is a lightweight, while Jake Paul is more of a cruiserweight. That would be like asking a middle schooler to fight a varsity lineman. In fighting, size is important, but Tank is fast, strong, and skilled. Fans, on the other hand, don't care about the numbers. Someone on YouTube just fought one of the best boxers in the world. But here is the problem. It won't matter if Tank was too small if Jake wins. The headlines will just say Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis, which is terrible for Tank's career. What the people have done has been crazy. Some people are excited and say Tank versus Jake will be a lot of fun. Some people are horrified and say this is ruining the sport. Now that Crawford is sick, the stakes are even higher than they were before. The fight in November is no longer just between Tank and Jake, as fans know. It has to do with the future of the pound-for-pound title in boxing. Who do you think will win between Gervonta and Jake Paul? I'm not sure, though. Is it not German that it should be? We'll check out the size and everything. As a form of entertainment, it's fun. There are more than two stars competing for money here. Between Crawford and Tank, there is real smoke. The back and forth between them has been going on for years and is no longer just friendly competition. For starters, Tank, in his usual cocky way, said that he could easily beat Crawford if he went up in weight. It was very rude to say that about Bud, who had won many weight classes and been the undisputed champion at 147 pounds, but replied that he didn't think Tank was a good opponent and criticized the quality of his qualifications.
How you feel about that fight? Is it even possible at a catch weight? No, ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47. You're not even entertaining a catch weight. No, I'm not. He's a champ though too, undefeated. And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at. All right, I'll welcome him.
Crawford's sneaky comment about Tank not being there during the gallop was a sly flex that showed he thinks he is much better than Tank. Crawford wasn't going to let Tank take the spotlight, so he clapped back and talked about his fame and money. On the other hand, Tank has made things worse. It's not okay to talk badly about Bud's family. It became personal that way. Crawford thought this was more than just rude. It was a simple rule violation. Remember that you can't just ignore or laugh this off. From then on, every hit, call out, and interview has heard more. There's a lot more to this than just clothing and salary. This is a mix of revenge, pride, and tradition.
There was some kind of crazy trash talk with Gervonta and Terrence Crawford recently. And one of the things that I've always kind of noticed is most of the time, one of the things that's kind of off limits is families. Like you usually don't, you know.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and so I wanted to kind of understand what your thoughts was about like some of those comments that was made. I think it was about Terrence's wife. What, like in your mind, where? Because obviously, like you've been in this sport.
I think Terrence Crawford right now in the sport of boxing is the pound for pound best fighter in the sport of boxing right now. It's good to see him in the position that he's in. I think he has a beautiful family. I think he has a beautiful wife, a beautiful queen, a black queen. And there's nothing better than a black woman in this world. That's just my opinion. We all entitled to our opinion. And
the video for today is now over. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you liked it so you don't miss any more movies. Do not forget to write your thoughts in the box below. We'll see you in the next